Hello chaps, how you doing? Blondbassist. So in this tip, this is something that I see new players doing quite often. So you've got a gun and it's out of ammo, and people tap reload to reload the weapon like you do in every other shooter. But there's a new mechanic in Sandstorm, and it's called speed reloading. Almost forgot. And basically, if you double tap R, you reload faster at the expense of losing the magazine that's in your weapon and any ammo that's left in it. Now the trick is that when you've run out of ammo, there is no reason to keep that magazine. So what you do, it's very simple. You just always speed reload when you've run out of ammo, because there is no downside, and well, frankly, it looks cooler. So for the next tip, we're going to be covering crouch jumping. Now in the original game, crouch jumping was very useful as it enabled you to reach a hell of a lot of different places in the map, jumping through windows, and just generally opened up your access, in the original game. In Sandstorm, things are a bit different. The idea was to replace crouch jumping with vaulting, as you can see there. Just looks a lot better, a lot more stylistic, and just a little bit more of a slick system. However, they have, at least in the beta, still left crouch jumping in the game. So what's the point of doing crouch jumping if you can just vault? Well, very simple. Crouch jumping is always quicker at getting over objects than vaulting, as you could just see there. I'll show you again. So we're going to do a vault. Okay, so it freezes you in place, takes longer to get over it. Whereas if I just do a crouch jump, instantly over it, and I'm gone. So the vaulting mechanic isn't... See, you're probably thinking like, well, why vault? I mean, it's pointless mechanic. Not necessarily, because you can vault over objects where you can crouch jump over, but there are also objects that are too high to crouch jump over, like this one, but you can still, pull yourself up over. So there's uses for both different types of systems. You'll have to go around and just get a feel for what you can crouch jump over. Like, I've been playing the game for a while, so I can tell you I can crouch jump over that concrete wall right there pretty easily like that. But if I look at this wall, I know that that's just a little bit too high, and I'm gonna have to use a vault. So get a feel for it, get a feel for the heights, and basically the rule of thumb is, if you can crouch jump over something instead of vaulting, always do it, because it's a faster way of getting about. In this next tip, we're going to be talking about how to throw grenades quickly. I've seen a few complaints from people that grenade throwing is too slow. But there's a way to actually match the speed, if not exceed it, from the original game. So basically, all you do, pull the pin on a grenade, throw it as you would normally, and then the moment the grenade leaves your hand, press the key to switch back to the grenade. So in my case, it's 4 to switch grenade. So throw it, press 4, and the grenade's back out. And then throw again, press 4 as soon as he throws it, and look, all those smokes going out. I just popped 3 smokes where most people would probably still be pulling the pin on their second one. Look at that, 3 beautiful smoke grenades. This applies to basically every grenade in the game, and you can almost double the output of grenades using this method. Alright, the next trick is deceptively simple. Doors, very simple addition to a game, but they do add quite a lot to the tactical meta, if you will. So basically, a good way to use doors is if you come into a cap point. Let's assume that this room was a new, a capture area. You come in, and all the doors are open. So this door's open. Let's say that door's open, and this door's open. What I always do when I go solo into a cap point, or even when there's people with me, make sure you close all the doors. And the reason why you want to do that is if you've got an area... Close that one. If you've got an area that is completely covered by doors, or mostly covered by doors, you're creating improvised sound traps. So even if you have an enemy that's sneaking around and he's sneaking up to the objective, making 0 sound, he will have to make a sound eventually when he opens that door. And when he does open that door, and you've got some guys with some high caliber weapons, just spray the shit out of that door and the surrounding walls, and hopefully they're not too thick so you can penetrate them. Very powerful tool, deceptively simple on the surface, but definitely one to keep in mind. Okay, so this is a basic overview of the way the recoil works in Sandstorm. Yeah, so we might as well start right now. So you have your weapon and you're standing still and you're firing, it has close to maximum recoil. If you take a crouch, the recoil, at least in the beta at the moment, is significantly reduced. And when you look at pro players or people who've just been playing a long time, what they tend to do is when they're charging around looking for people to kill, as soon as they see somebody, they drop to the knee and that's when they start shooting. They very rarely ever stand up whilst they're shooting because the recoil is cut down by what feels like, anyway, something like 25-30%. It's actually quite a huge markdown. And when you go prone, it goes down even further. The jump isn't quite as big, but you can laser beam people like that. I'm just compensating at the moment. And you almost don't need a bipod. If you put a bipod on something, it's game over. It's basically a laser beam. But that's how the basic recoil works. But there's also a few extra layers to it. Standing up has a decent amount of recoil, but leaning tends to add a little bit more. You can feel it. It's been toned down a little bit, but it's definitely a little bit more extra recoil. Same applies for left. I don't know if the values scale, you know, left or right. I would assume they're the same, but they definitely add more recoil. It's also worth noting as well that moving while shooting does increase recoil. So, yeah, taking side strafes, you better be a hell of a crack shot if you want to get some work done doing that. So there you go. There's 5 very simple but very effective tips to take with you onto the battlefield. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you want to see more. And I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Take it easy, chaps.